Sad Individuals podcast, and the whole team is here. We have Nikki Green, we have Matthew McCarthy, and we have the legend, Taj Francis. And we're talking about patriotism and how long it will last in this Jamaica, this 50-year-old Jamaica. How long will this patriotism last?
Do you have any more medals to get?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, there.
I mean, if the medal ceremony done, I think that's it still. I think that's probably it.
You don't think you're going like,
that's
you know?
so depressing.
Yeah, that's
It's so sad when you consider like what my point was about this whole thing.
Rough.
God.
I mean,
you don't think you'll last till the end of the year at least?
I mean, probably you'll have people wearing the shirts. I mean, if we're in red, green, and if we're in black, green, and gold, it's patriotism then.
See, they know the rest. No, arts.
Basically, just wearing the t-shirts with the flag colors. That's what makes up patriotism.
Yeah, if that's what it is, then yeah, all right, well, yeah, we'll go on for the rest of the year. If that's what a patriot is, somebody who wears a black, green, and gold shirt, then there's a lot of patriots going around the place.
You know, Tash, I was saying to them earlier that when I was younger, I thought like a patriot was an American who was proud to be American. I didn't know it was like a thing that everybody could be for their own country.
I can see why you think that, because I mean, it's a TV out of that,
It's always America.
Yeah. I think you never heard any other country being, like you're not being a patriot is, you just think this red, white, and blue, flag and, American anthem, but I don't think people even really notice that. I mean, everybody can be a patriot, so true. I mean, you're saying how long will it last? I mean, it's even going on? Because people wearing black, green, and gold.
That's a good question there.
But people wearing black, green, and gold make them patriots.
I'll digging up the truth.
I'll interject right here still, because here's my reality, like with this entire thing. You're talking about patriotism, dog. You're talking about like individuals, like really, like wholeheartedly being about and I'm very in tune, as well as I'm very proud of their nation and expressing it outwardly.
True.
That is happening right now. Even though it's conditional, it's happening. You get me? Like, it's really happening right now. However, as far as I'm concerned, the only reason why it's happening is because, I mean, vendors are making it goddamn easy. There's flags everywhere. Even though the yellow that is printed on these flags.
Yeah, it's like neon yellow, like highlighter yellow.
Can I just say how much that pissed me off the first time I saw it? I mean, I thought it was a minor thing to get upset over, but really and truly, the color gold is supposed to symbolize something for our country. And yet we're okay with China making us like billions of highlighter yellow flags. That's okay.
Portia actually was saying it, and I was watching the news and she was talking about, the flag should be black, green, and gold, and most of the flags are black, green, and yellow.
And that, I mean, it'd be one
and
thing if it was like exactly. It'd be one thing if it's like the yellow, like sunshine yellow, or like a kind of goldish yellow.
Yeah,
but it's
near
yellow.
green. It's actually near
green.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
That's because it means. I mean, you couldn't put like navy blue on the British or American flags. That wouldn't fly if you tried that. You couldn't put like magenta on a American flag.
True.
That wouldn't work.
True.
You couldn't fly cream up there instead of white.
Yeah.
But we're okay with taking highlighter yellow and selling it by the thousands.
Yeah.
Because these are like mass-produced flags that are given to people all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just one company that's handing them out in a certain area. These are just the popular flags. No, these are the popular flags that are everywhere.
Cheaper flags.
Yeah, cheaper flags.
No,
I mean, I've seen a few that look not too bad, but the majority
of them are like...
No, as in the majority of them seem to come from the same place.
Curry goat yellow.
Yes, you know what? That's what we're going to call it from here on in. That is the exact shade. It is curry goat yellow.
The curry, that's right on the flag.
Yeah, I mean, alright.
That's what I was saying.
Hold on there. Let's stick some pins. And I think Nikki was saying it earlier, that when Jamaicans are abroad, they're way more patriotic than when they're here. Because I guess when you're saying that, and you're saying that even if somebody finds another Jamaican abroad and they realize that they are Jamaican, they'll be friends with that Jamaican just because they're Jamaican, even if they're not necessarily the kind of person they'd be friends with if they were living in Jamaica. But just because they're Jamaican and, you know, that kind of unity that you find being from a small island in a, you know, bigger country, when you find somebody else who's Jamaican, you're like, yo, walk on, beer, fist bump, and you see me? I mean, it's nice to share. I guess it's a human thing. It's not a Jamaican thing. I'm not saying that this is what is just Jamaicans, but
yeah, I mean, well, none of this really just pertains to Jamaica, except maybe the flag thing. I've never really heard of that happening anywhere else. But in general, I don't think anything we're talking about is specific to Jamaica and only Jamaica.
Yeah, but then,
you know, this is a problem worldwide.
I was just saying that, I mean, Jamaicans tend to be more Jamaican, either when we're in the spotlight, like, you know, when a Bob Marley tribute thing is going on, or when Usain Bolt mash up some Oliver medal or something, or if you're far away from home and you want to take comfort in the fact that, you know, I don't know, you come from a very unique place or something, then you see the Jamaican pride coming out. You know, you go abroad, you go to America, and your American friends say, hey man, just say something in Jamaican, and then you know, you buy your Jamaican flag and you drape it up in your apartment. And not saying that if you do that you're not, you know, patriotic otherwise, but I'm just saying that it seems as if, you know, we're more patriotic.
It freaking sucks, man. That's what it is.
At home, you know.
Oh my thing. Oh.
Dog, here's really say it, dog. Say it, to be honest with you, dog. As in, inside the country, dog, some people will be like, yo, man, screw Jamaica, you see me, like, Jamaica this, Jamaica that, yeah, you can't.
I forget off of that island. Remember that thing from Cool Runnings, the guy?
Oh God,
he wanted to get off of the island.
Brother,
that's a real man, you know. That man exists in Jamaica.
No, but the thing with Cool Runnings is that, like, anytime I watch that show, it's just like, do people not understand that I've never met a Jamaican like any of these 4 people in my life?
Really?
Like,
I've met some.
never.
No,
I bet so.
I know, as in, like, the basic personality types, when you really consider it, are the kind of personality types that are across the board in any kind of media, like, not just Jamaican people. But when you really think down to it, what their motivations were for a lot of these people, I have to get off of that. Look here, I know a lot of people that want to go abroad to study or to work to make a little money, something, but I need to get away from Jamaica.
No, there are some people like that.
No, wait.
But not in my experience, because as far as I have seen, Jamaicans love the country, they just don't know how to take care of it.
Alright.
You know what? I disagree. And let me tell you why I disagree. I feel, and I would never say every Jamaican. I think there's a set of Jamaicans in this country, because there's a set for everything, you know. There's some people who would be like, yo, I can't live anywhere else. Can't live anywhere else, you know. Like, and as far as they're concerned, even when them see the crime going on, I'm still on and say, oh, if we get the crime under control, this country is so beautiful. And some people are very passionate about Jamaica. I think that there's a lot of people, however, I'm not going to say more people than those people I just mentioned before, but I mean, if you have a large amount of people, it's still bad. There's a large amount of people in Jamaica that they're very foreign minded, you get me? Like, yes, and everything is like, you know, boy, you know, I mean, right now, if I could just get that green card, or if I could just marry her.
Or you even have some of them that come back, like they come back from America and them talk about, Lord, how the country's so bad, and in America they do this, and in America they do that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I won't lie to you, as in there are some people who, but the thing about it is that I always find funny, which is what you were saying earlier, is that, like, people will be quick to kind of disrespect Jamaica in certain ways and kind of talk about, you know, this and that and that and this. And then when they leave, like themselves, like they even be Jamaican and be like, oh, my youth, as in sometime the war, them and this and that. And they leave and they'll be like, yo, that So that right this and out, that look nice and urban and nice, like a Jamaican look, you see, man. Them put up them flag on the wall and have them little ends and thing, and them probably do some little things that look nice and grungy and gritty.
Let's probably not discredit everybody, because I mean,
no, not everybody. No, that's what I'm saying.
No,
that's what you have groups, you have sets of people.
Groups,
I said before. I started on my point saying that, like, you have sets of people, because you have some people who from the get go, you see me, they were, into, Jamaica and whatever, and they're patriotic. I mean, this is where patriotic comes in, you get me?
Yeah.
And they leave Jamaica and they still like that, you know what I mean? But you have some people now that leave, and they're hawking and leaving and talking about Jamaica this and Jamaica that, and them leave.
As soon as them
they
come off of the plane,
they make every effort to go into Walmart and say, what a shirt body, as long as I can, so when people walking past, I can know that they speak Patriotism.
True.
Okay? And like, and I just find it, I find it more funny than, earlier I was saying this stuff, I find it more fun than anything else, you see me, but it's a serious problem, and I think it spans from the fact that, as a country, you look at America, like, you look at the fact that they're, like, as Ikem said, he thought that patriotic meant a proud American. Like, they fight for their independence, you get me? Like, they had to fight.
This is actually a point that I want to bring up. I'm actually really glad that you said that, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but
fine, just continue.
I think that's actually a really big part of where us either one not understanding patriotism or two not really doing much about it comes from the fact that we didn't fight for our independence.
It was given to us.
Yeah, exactly. With the UK, like Britain was basically just like, look, you're kind of not useful to us at this point anymore. You're becoming a liability. Just go on both your ways and do what you want. It's like a teenager getting kicked out if she got pregnant or something. Like we're done with this.
Yeah.
Like, whereas America really, like, they had revolutions and wars.
They had wars,
man. People died.
People died for America. America, woo!
Have revolts throughout time, for emancipation and that kind of thing. But we didn't have a true revolution, and we didn't have any wars. And I think that's a big part of where this whole idea of we don't really understand what to do with our independence or our patriotism comes from.
You know what I think we need to do? We need to create a story. You know what I'm saying? We need to create a story, and it needs to be cinematic and big, and it just needs to be like Jamaica fighting, Britain for the independence, and just put it on the screen there.
Yeah.
Next 50 years, people will even
we should just make up our history then, is what you're saying.
Yes.
That's
so. Hold on. So
I think the film industry has done enough of that, though, like making up history. That's not
so
encouraging.
you guys are saying that if we have, like, we would be more.
Yeah, it would be like our
we'd have a better understanding of ourselves and nation, or whatever, if we fought, like, we literally fought for our freedom, like it was.
Oh, no, I could never say
I
that.
think it's more of a theory. Like, Americans, a good amount of the time when they talk about their independence, they will talk about the wars that they had to fight to get it. When Independence Day rolls around, and like as a kid growing up in America, this was a big thing. When Independence Day rolls around, kind of like how Black History Month, they spend the whole month talking about African American history. Independence Day, when July rolls around or late June, you start hearing all of these stories about, the wars that were fought and the revolution, the American Revolution, the Civil War, things that kind of shaped the history of America through violence. And
that's a story, people love us
is
so
high in the country. Yeah.
It's just a story, because you don't have anybody who was alive. You don't have anybody who has like parents who were alive.
That's exactly it. Like, people have their sides and their heroes for these situations that they were not around for. Like, you don't know what side you would have been on, really, if you were there.
But
because there were Americans who did not believe that America needed independence at the time that they attained it, but that doesn't matter. Because right now, as an American, when you stand up there on July 4th, you know that you're on the side of America because, damn it, we fought for our freedom.
Yeah.
Mark, that whole fighting for your freedom come with like another set of problems too, because then you have And people talking about, hey, you know,
Like Haiti.
it's minority group. Hey, you weren't here when we were fighting for independence. You know? You trust me? I don't think you guys were really.
I mean, a lot of them were though. Like, I mean, blacks were definitely.
Yeah.
No. We know.
Oh, we. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Let's not forget that America stole the country from the Native Americans. Let's not forget that.
Well, I mean, no, that's a whole different subject entirely. That's not
worth mentioning.
The sad truth of that is that it's kind of gotten to the point now where that's an entirely different subject from patriotism.
Yeah.
Because it is clearly not the country that they stole from the Native Americans anymore.
Yeah.
That country died a long time ago. It is only ever seen when you're on the reservations, which aren't as bad and aren't as small as people make them out to be, which is a point that I kind of wanted to get to about Jamaica in the media. Because, Ikem, you made a point earlier about how it seems when Jamaicans, you know, want to show off their country to the world, they're showing off these big cities.
Oh yeah,
and,
I said that before we started.
Yeah.
But
Ikem was basically saying that, you know, they show off the cities and the big corporations, you know, like New Kingston and where you see the
transport
tall
center.
skies. Yeah, exactly, transport center, where you see the clear spaces and the tall buildings and all of that, you know, corporation run kind of areas, because, you know, Jamaicans seem to be ashamed of what makes us individually Jamaican and what makes this country a quote-unquote third world country, although somebody once told me that it's moved up to being a second world country, but I haven't actually researched that.
Second world countries exist? As in, I thought there was...
I mean, third world and first world, I think, I'd hope there's a middle ground, because otherwise it's just like, why are you skipping the number 2? But
the middle ground is actually disappearing. Like,
it is. But I mean, the thing with me is that I feel like both should be shown, because Jamaica is a country that's growing. You know, the economy is growing. We are having a better understanding of the quote-unquote like future and how it works, and like what it means to move into being a big city and what it means to move into being a first world country, even though we might not actually get to that point within our generation. But the world at large does not show that part of Jamaica.
Yeah.
So Jamaica will only show that part of ourselves. While the world
corporate
at large
Jamaica doesn't show it.
Corporate Jamaica.
Because I was saying that corporate Jamaica doesn't show it, but anytime like big advertising agencies come down to Jamaica and do ads for Jamaica, they capture Jamaica better than corporate Jamaica captures Jamaica. They
no, it's true.
And they find they capture it much better.
Because alright, here's my thing, you know.
Yeah, because they're not so caught up in trying to make this whole. I mean, they want to make this appealing thing, but they're not so caught up in the mentality that we have, that like these things are ugly, when clearly these things are something that's unique to us, and like, you know, but because these corporations are caught up in the idea that anything else outside that is just ugly, and you know, but it's because it's unique, and that's what these foreign things see, that they see that, and they say, you know, they want to show that unique side, that, you know, because no one wants to see a city that they are like, I have a city.
I don't see there's anything wrong with showing the city side of it too. It's like, let me give you an example. 2 examples really. Whenever I see Miami, for the majority of it in the media, I see Miami by the beach, like South Miami kind of, where you know, every business is beachside. It's all sunshine and rainbows all the time, and everybody roller skates on the sidewalk by the beach. I'm just like, I grew up in Miami.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that all the time. It's not like that everywhere you go. Most of it just looks like a big city.
Yeah.
Or, you know, sometimes it kind of looks like a town, but it doesn't really necessarily look like what they show on TV unless you're in specific parts of Miami. And it's like we talked about Cool Runnings earlier.
Yeah.
And Cool Runnings, to me, is a movie that does not show Jamaica in all its glory. Because it focuses on these very specific small town kind of parts of Jamaica that are, you know, in some backwoods kind of areas. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with living in country. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these small town kind of areas. It's good. But that's not all that Jamaica is.
Yeah.
And that seems to be what the focus is in the media all the time. If you're not from Jamaica, the only movie that I can think of off the top of my head that shows the kind of rich city life and also very unique Jamaican ghetto/country life is Shutters. And I'm not a big fan of that movie. It's a good movie, but I'm not like a fan of that movie.
What?
But to me, it's like the most Jamaican movie there is right now.
Alrighty.
It might just with me.
Give the money and take the weed. Alright, right, here's my thing. Going back to even fighting for independence. I think we take our nation for granted. And I don't think I can even say, boy, a set of Jamaicans even we do it too. Like, we can take our nation for granted sometimes, you get me? Because the reality of it is that, dog, things happen, you know, dog. Hotels come to Jamaica and bill out the whole away the coastline, you see me? And advertising billboards pop up all over the place for foreign and local brands all over the place. And we don't say anything about these things, you get me?
Yeah.
And them market generic stuff to us and we don't really say anything about. I mean, this blog is probably one of the few things that is like speaking out about some of these issues, you get me? But like the thing about it is that the reason why certain things don't fly in certain countries is because they know what some of these things can lead to, because they experience it. That's the reason. That's what they had to go through to get their independence. They don't want that shit again. You get me? Yeah. So when you even look at like patriotism in America, even though some people might say, oh, blind patriotism, and oh, these guys are just acting like a bunch of, like, some of them are really like that because like they are just seriously serious about certain things not happening again. You get me? Like, they're just paranoid. I mean, if you look at America's history, like a lot of things have revolved so much around patriotism. I mean, in the whole Cold War period, there's something called McCarthyism. You know, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but like it was an entire campaign driven. It was a manifestation really where people are like, don't trust your neighbor, don't trust anybody, trust America and all its glory. You get me? Yeah. Like, only trust the blood and the spirit of America. You get me? And anyone that looks suspicious, report them. They must be. You know what I mean? It was this whole kind of. But at the root of it all, it was just the fact that, look, you get me? Like, we can't have to endure what we had to endure to get our independence again. Like, no one is going to take us over. You get me? Like in Jamaica, so all of the things are passive because we got our independence. There's no fight for it. There's no. Yeah, and even a lot of people is like, boy, better them never. Better we just have the pound and things same way. There's no story that you can read. Jamaica not good again, and there's no story that you can read back and like hear people say, you know, there's a lot of bloodshed and there's a lot of people that died and. I mean, so that land over there, that's where the mass grave was and all that, you know, and like, no, that's not the case, you get me? So like, when you see certain things happening, it's so passive, you get me? Like, people are just so like, building on the coastline hotels, you get me? Like, that's something that, cause, alright, like, I don't think we market, like, alright, we were passing, up Mona the other day, and I saw this billboard, Dry Clean USA, and on it they said Bolt to Dry Clean USA. And I'm like, alright. So them, alright, cool. And it's a case where like people from other countries market Jamaica better, and it come down. I don't know what it come down to. I don't know if it's that we our leaders or people in the private or the government sectors aren't smart or whatever. It's probably not even that. I think it comes down to the whole fact that we're ashamed of us not being a first world country, because basically our parents, quote unquote parents, or motherland, Europe, England is wealthy, and we're not. And I know that. We're not proud of what makes us Jamaican, and if we we're brainwashed into believing that if we don't flag certain places, I mean, the generation before us, our parents, their parents, were brainwashed during colonialism to believe that, if we don't like certain places, we're not good. You get me?
Yeah, and he went back. He go all the way back because he even have some parents still who are telling kids don't speak Patois. And
yeah, you see me and them tell them, I mean, you need to hurry up and get your scholarship so you can leave and go.
So
there's nothing.
There's no, like, I remember reading in, when we were doing literature in high school, and there was this story about the schools, it was some, like, prep school or something, and all of the books are like European books, so they're reading Shakespeare, and they're reading all these European playwrights and authors and stuff, and, like, there are no Caribbean authors. Thank God it's changing now.
Oh God, don't get me started. I'm not.
But I mean, I still think it's going to take some time. It's probably going to take time. Probably our generation is a good, because I mean, our generation see it. Hopefully we're not the only 4 people seeing it in our generation. I don't think that's the case. So I mean, hopefully next 2 generations maybe we'll be in a position where we'll be owning up our thing and Jamaican pride and proud to be a Jamaican. Maybe we just need more Bolts and more Bob Marleys, and then we'll finally reach the place. Maybe that's what we need, because we never had, all that the story of how we got our independence to power us, to power our patriotism. So maybe we just need more unique people showing, the goodness of Jamaica to, make us proud to be Jamaican. Maybe that's it.
Alright, well, I have a question though. Like, what do you think about like the youth in other countries? Like, do you think that they're even really passionate or like have that kind of care about like the whole history of how they fought for their country and all that? So as in,
boy, some of them I can't even say that because
it depends.
Yeah, some of
depends
them are like
forced
into it. Cause even like China, I mean, I don't think they have much of a choice if they speak up against the country. Probably not the smartest thing to do, Yeah, Nikki, what are you saying?
I was saying that, again, it depends on where you go, because I grew up in the States, like about my childhood, it was in the States, and yeah, people are really, really patriotic, like really, really patriotic in the States.
Yeah.
They love their country blindly. Like, not to say that there's nothing.
Yeah.
Not to say that there's nothing to be proud of. Not to say that Jamaica, that America is a bad country.
The government can do no wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. The kind of thing where you believe wholeheartedly that these wars are going on for good reason, and you don't stop and go, is this bullshit? That kind of thing. Where the kind of thing that is still making, violence against Muslim people okay in the country.
Yeah.
Still to this, just the other weekend you had the mass shooting and the fires.
And they're not even that just show the ignorance, because then they don't even know who once they just racially profile or somebody wearing a turban, so obviously they're a terrorist.
Like they would say that, like they said that about the Batman shooting thing. Like they said, if the guy was a Muslim, they would automatically, if he was like not even Muslim, if he was Arabic, they would automatically assume that he's a terrorist.
And it's the kind of terrorist that's being, like, the government hasn't done much to kind of curb that kind of thinking.
No, because they thrive off of that. Are you kidding me? Like,
hello, McCarthyism. I said this earlier. That's a culture. That's a part of culture now. That paranoia, basically.
Yeah, but yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah, no. Basically, my point is just that it's not a problem that's unique to Jamaica. Everywhere you go, you have this whole situation of people being proud of their country and not necessarily know what it means to stand up for the country.
Yeah.
Jamaica, we have this issue where, when's the last time you ate at like a restaurant that was Jamaican for like just a week straight? Like, those are the only restaurants you go to. When's the last time that you went to the grocery store and the only things you picked up in the supermarket were Jamaican? You can't. We have a whole multitude of things that we don't produce here. So, as artists, because I think a couple of us, or maybe all of us, in this talk right now, are artists.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah. when's the last time you bought acrylic paints that were Jamaica, acrylic oil, you know, that kind of thing? You know, pastels, you're not going to find them made by Jamaicans.
I told you.
We don't make our own art materials out here unless you have like the
There's
one
some from
person
Trinidad
who will make their own. Well, I mean, it's good to support.
No, but
you know,
the funny thing is, you know, even just thinking about a local product, you know, the mentality that we have in Jamaica, and I mean, I'm not going to like single anything out. This is a mentality I had up until recent. You get me?
Yeah.
The mentality is that if it's locally made,
it's not good.
Good. Like it's not.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not.
Like it's not going to work properly, and it's going to get mashed up quickly, and
or it's not of quality. Like all them. You ever see local corn flakes?
You know why I think that's crap? Because I have Mead notebooks that have like fallen apart. Even though Mead is one of the best notebook, like one of the best school supply companies out there, I wouldn't lie. I have Mead notebooks that have fallen apart within like 2 weeks, whereas I have Seek notebooks that I got from high school from like 2004 that are still fully intact. Alright?
Seek notebooks.
They're not falling apart, they're not rotting out or nothing. Seek is a good company to buy from. And the notebooks are coming in all sizes these days.
But I mean, it's just the reality though, because it's a chain, you know, because if we don't produce a whole bunch of other stuff, because America, there are some products that in Jamaica that probably aren't of the quality standard, but then again, the material needed to make some of those things aren't even made here. True. So it drives up in price to even get these things, and it makes it harder for local producers to even do it. So it's one big, huge chain for everything, really. Mm-hmm. And that's one. And then secondly, like, dude, honestly, the products that are made locally, have you ever gone to the supermarket and seen the products that are made locally? Like, they put them on, like, the bottom shelf.
True.
Like, up into, like, one corner or something like that.
And, you know, sometimes...
They want us to import more than we export out.
Dude, sometimes it's not even... I think, like, people who producing, like, local stuff, they need to... Because I know, like, we're artists. Some people have the mentality, if you're doing, like, logo design or package design for some people, they just want a certain thing and they won't listen to people when they say, yo, this needs to be done and this needs to be done. Sometimes they'll be like, yo, can't, you know, pay a little extra money to get it done right. So then you have products and they can't be marketed well because they don't look good. And if they don't look good, then, I mean, you can't really expect people to flock to them. I mean, you go into a supermarket, right? You see a 2 box of cornflakes. You see Kellogg's, and it has a nice packaging. And then you see for some name brand, for some Jamaican brand cornflakes thing, and it looks kind of shoddy, and you're like, boy, that look like roach all are running at it.
But the thing is just like, they're just as good when you eat them.
But then we don't, is like the whole visual marketing is an important aspect.
Advertising works, it's visual.
Yes, visual. So I think people who produce it, they need to take the extra time to put a little more effort into what they're doing to make it look.
I don't think it's that simple, because, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Sometimes you design something for a certain era or a certain, you know, like a certain set of people in mind or something, and then either time goes by and the art style of the era changes in terms of what's visually appealing changes, or you're set in a situation where more people are buying your product or different people are buying your product from you expected. Well, look at like if you look at the Count Chocula boxes, like anything by General Mills that came out in the 70s is going to look really different from how it looks now.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
the art style has changed.
I'm not saying that's
sometimes in Jamaica we cannot afford to move further than that. It's really sad, but it's true. Like, we have a basic design that's set in mind for a certain time period or a certain what do you call it? Like consumer, like base.
Yeah.
You know, like with a certain set of people in mind, and now we've grown to the point where we have more people or different people looking at it, but we can't afford to do anything different with the product because we just haven't made that much money yet that we can say, let's start printing a whole new logo on the boxes. It's not that easy.
Boy, I mean, alright, I don't know, like, I do know actually, because like the reality for me is like, I see local products, and I don't think that all of them is really like lack of money. I really don't think that's like I don't even
I
think
wouldn't say all of it is. I'm just saying it's a part of the situation.
It's not a black and white situation. It definitely isn't, but there's some room for, and some, I mean, some can't and some can, and some that can, like especially like big companies like I don't know if I should be calling names, but like Lasco. Like sometimes some of the products don't look as good as they could look, and it's a big. Lasco is not like a tiny company anymore, you know. Lasco is one of the bigger lines
it is the biggest producer of food drink in Jamaica.
Yeah, so then like you telling me that you can't spend a little more cheese and hire some fresh minds to come and redesign your thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, son, because I mean, all right, I've done a job recently. I was supposed to do this. I'm not going to call any names. I was supposed to do a coconut oil for a company, and this is a pretty big company in Jamaica. Like this is one of Jamaica's biggest snack companies, right?
Yeah.
And so they're diversifying, they're doing. And I remember looking at like different coconut oils on the market. I went in a supermarket and I looked at some of the coconut oils. I went online and looked at some of the local coconut oils. And all of them the same thing. They cut out the coconut and then they put on top of some leaves, and then you had like coconut oil in like kind of like a cursive font, and like I was like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I drew this thing on. I did something very like nice and vectored and like illustrative, you get me?
Yeah.
And it was something that when I was done, I knew when it goes on the shelf, it's going to stand out. It's going to pop.
Yeah, because it's a fresh, like companies need to keep fresh. You know what I'm saying? Every couple of years.
Don't get me wrong, because it does work for companies, but how long does it work for is the question. Because I mean, you have some. You think water came out, and water for people who are listening to this and might be not like familiar with Jamaican brands. Water is a brand of
bottled water that we have here in Jamaica, spelled WATA, and it's one of the best selling, if not the best selling brands in Jamaica for bottled water. And to me, I think part of what made it so popular when it first came out is that it came out in a bottle that, while still very much a generic water bottle, it's shaped a little differently from the average water bottle that we see in the stores every day. One, and two, it's labeled, rather than being, you see the fresh springs of the mountains in Jamaica or something like that, what we see is just this really graphic blue design and water printed up front and on the front. Like, yeah, and that's
it's cute and it's fun and it's a very attractive design, but I don't think that alone would have gotten it to sell so good if it didn't start going into bigger marketing campaigns like with Ocean Spray Cranberry and all of that. Like, to me, it wouldn't have lasted that long were it not for the fact that they went, okay, but how can we keep this one good thing going?
Well, I mean, alright, like I think another part of that whole the thing that sold that though. You guys still there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're here.
Wait, Matthew?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, one of the things that sold that was the fact that before that you had Catherine's Peak. I think that was the more popular brand before water came along. And when water came along, the fact that it was water and it was patois and like the ads, they pushed that it's a Jamaican thing, water, it's all good.
Yeah.
Water, yeah. I think that had a lot to do with it, which shows that Jamaican people aren't necessarily afraid of getting Jamaican products. It's if you market it well and it was fresh, as he said, it was fresh and fun. And I think the reason why a lot of the other local brands sell because they have this idea that, alright, if we make it try to look like Kellogg's thing, then maybe we have a better chance of selling.
Yeah.
And
which
sometimes
is such a lie, because if you turn it around and you make it Jamaican, people will start to think, hey, why don't I just rep from my country? Because look at Bigger. I mean, they're not doing as well anymore. But when Bigger came out, like Bigger and Buster, Bigger and Buster have this thing about Buster, not as much, but Bigger and Buster have this thing about them where it's very much a Jamaican brand with both of them. I mean, you go into the movie theaters and they're advertising bigger in these very, very Jamaican commercials.
Yeah, those big.
What I remember before that was like these. What was the brand called? Like you had these Cool Cat sodas.
Yeah, man, BNG. Cool Cat, man.
Bold BNG, that's it. In these glass bottles, but they remind me a lot of like the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah.
So when I think Bigger came out, they came out with Jamaica.
Yeah, because people flock to what they know, you know. And if you can stay relevant and, if Lasco were to come out with a new brand of cornflakes and them call it, better than flakes or something. Or slap with flakes or something.
Ridiculous.
Market it like Jamaican cereal. Start your man with some slap way. Mommy, make sure when you go Superman, buy a box of slap way, cause
Ikem, I want to make one point though, because my thing is like even going back to what Nikki was saying earlier about like the companies like probably like having a design and then after a while it doesn't really stand the test of time. But my thing is like, we have a business, because here's the thing, you're going to be pulling in a certain amount of revenue, you get me?
Yeah.
You have a business, right? Yeah, and you want your business, the aim of the business is to be successful, right? It's not necessarily that at the start, like the designer said, boy, honestly, if I go to take it from that route, then it will cost $1 million more. You get me? Like, no, like the designer probably gave them something, and instead of being like very, very critical and doing the market research and saying, no, this is not the look we're going for something more like this, they took it. You get me? Because you have some designers that will charge a little bit of money for decent designs, even better. You get me? And a lot of the times the acceptability is low because they'll just take anything because as far as they're concerned, the product good it will sell, and that's not the case.
You know how much, dude? I was looking at this thing about the cost of the most famous logos. Like the Coca-Cola logo was done for free. It was just done by.
That's right now that is a public what do they call it? Public domain font. You can do anything in that font and you will not have to be charged with any copyright fees
a lot of big companies were like that too. Like a lot of big brands. Like the logos were done for little and nothing, but they were done well. Look at the London 2012 logo. That Bart Simpson being jerked off by Lisa Simpson. You know how much that cost? That cost a couple million to produce, you know. That cost a couple million to produce. As in, honestly, I don't even remember how it looked like properly. I just know it looked like some squares turned sideways or something.
That description just blew my mind.
Yeah, as in the first one, they changed the color to like a solid color.
Thank you very much. I would not have seen that if you didn't say it. No, that will be in my mind anytime that I look at this logo. Because to me, it really just looks like a bunch of zigzag, like 1980s kind of pattern lines. But no, you went and put images in my head for what that's supposed to be. And now, God. Thank you again.
That's exactly what it looked like. With the colors. I mean, as a solid shape, it doesn't look like that much.
True, dog. It's the most, like, not timeless logo that has ever been.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, it doesn't what they're trying to do like a kind of like a graffiti look. That's really what they're trying to do.
Okay, no, but you see, in all fairness, with this Olympics, none of it was supposed to be timeless. It is all feeding into like
culture.
To me, right now, and it's not even like timeless classic culture either, kind of like what China was trying to do with theirs. And I really, really enjoyed this Olympic, like the opening ceremony and, what's been going on throughout the year and that kind of thing. But I enjoy it because I enjoy shit that goes on the internet. And I am into geek culture like crazy, and I'm a nerd. So all of it was fun for me. You had Voldemort, and you had Peter Pan, and you had the guy who played Gilderoy Lockhart reading Shakespeare, and it was J.K. Rowling reading, and you had Voldemort repeated by Mary Poppins, and it was just a mind blow for geeky people.
But yeah, like it lost a lot of the people, because a lot of people who don't know the popular culture, they just probably wouldn't get it. They'd be like, okay.
All pop culture references throughout the entire opening ceremony, which is to me something that wouldn't happen in Jamaica actually, if we could ever build a stadium big enough to hold the Olympics.
You know, every country that like.
I'm scared. I am scared.
Olympics.
If we ever held the Olympics. If we ever held the
No,
Olympics.
we couldn't, dog. We couldn't. As in, you need to be in a certain place to hold the Olympics. And when you do, like the country mash up afterwards.
If we ever held the Olympics. If we ever held the Olympics.
We could do it if we could be a little bit more active about our patriotism.
Why? I'm talking about financially still.
It would be the worst branding. I swear to God, I don't.
I never go that far, but I think in terms of what our pockets can manage, because since we like in billions of dollars of debt already, and I hear that whenever they build a stadium, because you know the bird nest is over there like breaking apart now, because they build it for Olympics, and then afterwards is like, you know, they don't have enough money to maintain it, and nobody doing anything with it, and it's just falling apart. And like a lot of countries, when after they host the Olympics, the amount of damage that, you know, people come and do to it, and the amount of money you have to pay to fix up stuff afterwards, and like even the amount of money to pay for security and all those stuff, like it like really hurts the economy afterwards. Like it boosts it for a little because you have a lot of people coming in to visit, but then after that it like completely is like what you call it, a point of diminishing return kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do not ask me to recall whatever I learned in high school about anything. Sorry. Nope.
But Jamaica. Honestly, I think we as a country, I think we're patriotic to an extent, and it's probably we're more patriotic when things are going good, when it shouldn't necessarily be the case. I mean, all we need to do is look out for a neighbor and, you know, support our local producers. Let's start from there. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, it's supply and demand, you know. If you say, yo, I'm not going to buy Kellogg's no more, I buy straight Lasco cornflakes. You see me? Whether it's slapware or not. If you say that to your local supermarkets, they're going to start buying the Lasco thing and start buying the Kellogg's and a little bit more money in the country pocket, you understand? But then it's important for the manufacturers to make their stuff look good. So, you know, feel away when you go buy the cornflakes and it look away and you have to bring it to the cashier and people are look pan you and I say,
yeah, because the thing is like people feel
cheap, we can't even buy the proper.
Yeah, people feel proud, like you kind of have a sense of pride when you buy something and it looks.
Yeah,
like alright, so for instance, like you go to a store and them give you your things in a scandal bag. As opposed to like you go to a Puma store and
cloth
big
bag.
Red bag,
yeah,
big Puma and just look.
It looks,
you know,
nice.
like people, you know, people kind of like to feel that way when purchase.
Literally, you'll take and put your stuff in afterwards.
Yeah, you know, so people kind of want to have that takeaway value, that, you know, that pride, you know, and it's Jamaica. Like make something that people can be proud of. People proud to walk out with it. They're not gonna feel shit like, I mean, like a scandal bag. You know what they call a scandal bag was a scandal bag.
Why?
I've always wondered about that actually.
I don't know how true this is, but my brother told me that because you know they were originally white, but like the plastic bags are originally white, so they call them scandal bag because they would, you know, expose everything that you have, like anything you buy, you would see it. Okay. So it's literally like a scandal.
That's funny.
It's like a scandal, but you know, they made it black now. But I mean, now it just you know, it looks like a garbage
like
bag.
Tire, a whole, you know, like a little tire bag. Anyway, yeah, people need like, I mean, like, cause I've worked with, boy, like, I don't know if I've seen people come up with like they want to look for their brand and thing, and like sometimes you have fresh ideas as a kid and like, you know, say, yo, this thing look fresh, you see me, but they just want something that look like everybody else thing. They want something that look like a American thing, when they shouldn't really like have enough pride in Jamaica to know that, yo, people will support Jamaican things once you make it feel the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Slap with cornflakes.
Slap with cornflakes in the morning.
It's really funny to me too how sometimes, like, I don't remember who it was that I was talking to, but like, we went into the supermarket and there was Pepsi and there was Bigger and it was the cola that they were picking up, so it was Bigger cola, you know, and I picked up the Pepsi. I was just like, you know, what's the big deal? You can just buy the Bigger. They're like the same price in the store, which is rare because normally you'll see that the Pepsi is a little bit more expensive. And you know, I was just like, you know, support the economy and whatever. And they're just like, well, the Pepsi factory is in Jamaica. You know, they're bottled in Jamaica. And I was like, that's not an argument. You have the opportunity here to give us some money to your country without really sacrificing anything out of your pocket because they're the same price. It's not like when you go into the store, Jamaican sodas cost more or something, and your argument is, well, this U.S. company decides to bottle their shit in Jamaica.
You know what it is? My mother used to say this thing to me all the time. Matthew, don't expect a penguin to randomly fly. Literally, she's basically saying to me, yo, listen, like in this situation to apply it would be like, people are people, and people look to branding. If something's branded well, they'll buy into it.
Yes.
Expect that you will tell people, come on people, support our local brands, and they're just going to do it.
Exactly.
Why am I to do that?
The whole Buy Jamaica thing, they should have teamed up with a group of graphic designers and just rebrand everything. And them the government just pay for that. And if it was done well, you'd have see how much people flock. If them they just come up with a new brand of like Jamaican products, like how you have the Bigger and how they have those Bigger ads with them like on the like they're on some kind of trolley and the background moving behind them and they're talking about, yo, I am Jamaica.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are nice, you know. As in, like, if you had more stuff like that, I don't see why. Because even we talking just Jamaica, it's not only Jamaica just buying them thing there, you know. If you ship them to Trinidad and have the same ads behind them, yo, best believe. Yo, I was about to do a Trinidad accent, but anyway, go on. But it's like, people buy into that because it's Jamaican. Like, people, Jamaica is cool, you know. Whereas them Olympics they just passed, people love Jamaica from a long time, you know. They must say,
it's so true though. You watch the Olympics and you watch the races like this, like, you know, today when Usain beat the record in the relay, like, people in the audience who were trying to grab him and take pictures and everything, you know, like, let's not talk about the woman who tried to run them down. Like, did anybody else see that?
Yeah, she jumped him. Yeah.
She like jumped over the gate and tried to run them down, and the guards were trying to catch her. No, but like most of the people who were trying to take pictures with them, really grabbing onto them and trying to take pictures with them, were not Jamaican. We're talking people from the UK and France. So it was really interesting for me to watch because I was just like, whoa, people love our celebrities and they must love our country.
As in, France is the reggae capital of the world now. Even though I feel a little way for say that, but that just shows how much they love Jamaican culture.
Yeah. You guys, pause for a second. I'm talking about being patriotic. Right. Somebody sent me a link a while ago. And basically she took a picture of a man like standing at his door. Yeah. And this is a young cartoonist. You guys went see her on Facebook. Basically, they were driving on the road and the races were about to start, and they really wanted to see the races. And basically, they just turned into like somewhere near in their neighborhood. They just turned into the yard and they heard that the race was going on, and they asked if they could watch. And basically,
them just invite them into them house.
Invited them into the house and allow them to watch the race and offered them some sorrel afterwards and everything.
Mad skip, you know.
Hold on. Have any guys ever been?
That made me feel nice while I right now.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Any guys ever been in Patriot when like
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, as you get into conversation, you get, you know, and not on that, like you become temporary best friends with the person next to you.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like the person next to you and the person beside you become temporary best friends. Like you can see you. People swear that you know each other from a long time. The way you're just going on. And, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, as in that make me feel. As in, we just need more of that. But we can't just have that every single day. All right, hold on, guys. I could take a little pause. We're right back.